all of us are a little worried about that. But I wouldn't say that that means that people need to work more in terms of more hours, but that people need to work in a way that is more smart. So, for instance, companies that are dealing well with the crisis are helping employees realize that what they need to do is to be more aligned with the mission of the company. Sometimes people think that the smarter way of dealing with the crisis is just working longer hours, which usually doesn't work that well, because working longer hours doesn't mean that people are going to be more productive.
People will be more reluctant to use flexible work policies to work from home because they really want to be present at the workplace to feel like they can better demonstrate their value to employers. But it also may be that, to some extent, I think the experience of work-family conflict is self-imposed. And by knowing that you're working and you're happy just to have a job right now when so many people don't, people may feel less conflicted because they are able to value the work that they do have and to be able to continue to provide for their families.
I think that employees are having some additional pressures. Certainly it might have to do with what is going on within their organization, or it may be just that they know people in their lives who are having trouble. And so that's certainly something that's likely to be concerning and lead to more stress and potentially more burnout in terms of the work. I think in addition that if there are layoffs or other types of situation in their own organization, that's going to add additional pressure and stress. There's research on downsizing and layoffs that show that does affect employees profoundly, although procedural justice, feeling that there's been a fair process and that there's a good reason for it, can help to alleviate that strain.
So I think that people were worrying about losing jobs, and where they had some sort of security, it was much more important. We did find that physical health was worse in the United States. Mental health was about the same, but there still were a lot of problems. We found that 1 out of every 3 employees is experiencing 1 or more symptoms of clinical depression. Problem sleeping is really very widespread. Fewer people are saying that they're in good health. There are just more health problems. We've followed that for the last 3 decades. We've asked whether, if a company offers flexible time and leave policies, whether there's jeopardy, whether people who use them are less likely to get ahead, or those sorts of things. And we haven't seen a change in those. It's still 2 in 5 employees who are feeling that there's jeopardy. So the numbers are high, but it hasn't gone up or down in statistically significant ways.
There's a lot of pressure to make themselves, what I've heard, you have to make yourself indispensable. You have to make sure that if there's 5 people in your department, there's no chance, if they're going to get rid of 1 person, that it's going to be you. And that you have to demonstrate a very high level of commitment, workload intensity, dedication, and work. It has to be clear to your supervisor and your organization that work is your number 1 priority. But I think also that in some cases we're also hearing that this is sort of an opportunity for people to kind of rethink in some ways their commitments to work and what's really important to them. It is a very difficult situation to deal with, but maybe it's also an opportunity. Maybe we could get by on a smaller income. Maybe we don't want to be working as much as we've been working. Maybe this is an opportunity to not push ourselves so hard and to be so consumer-oriented, which is a big U.S. drive. More, better, bigger, louder.
Many professionals are not using part-time work, flexible work hours, not asking to telework because they think it will make them look as less committed because hours at work are equated with productivity. I also think workloads are rising so that 1 individual might be doing the work that was formerly done by 2 people. So people are very stressed. I think at home we've had a very much of an economic disruption. We may have new roles for employees, as a spouse may have lost a job. So you might have more women being breadwinners in the United States. 1 out of 10 people are out of work right now, and this has affected men more than women, particularly high-earner male professionals. And it's very hard for high-earning male professionals who are over 50 more and make more money to find a new job in this crisis.
More generally, people want to show their value to the organization. So if it means taking on more workload, then I think people want to do that. If it's other ways of showing your investment and your engagement, it may be helping other people, it may be being more cooperative in the workplace, helping other people with their jobs. So you're not formally increasing your own responsibilities, but you're just being there to be helpful for other people, or just being a little more conscientious about doing your job and making sure that customer is satisfied. So I think there are a lot of little everyday ways that people are responding.
They are being asked to reduce their wages, to work longer hours, to perform more, and many employees are in fear of losing their jobs if they don't comply with these demands. But I think there are other sectors of employment, the highly unionized sectors, particularly in the automotive industry, where they've just seem to have blinders on, and what they've been saying is, we refuse to take any wage cuts, we refuse to work harder, and it's quite unreasonable of them given the current economic times that we're in.